Okay, imagine this. You're strapped to a gurney. You've said your last words. The IV line is in your arm. You can literally hear the clock ticking down the final seconds of your life. And then, bam, everything stops. That's exactly what happened to 46-year-old Tremane Wood, a death row inmate in Oklahoma whose life was spared just minutes before he was set to be executed. This is the story of two brothers, one tragic night, a 19-year-old victim, and a decision that rocked Oklahoma's justice system. And trust me, the twists here are insane, so stick around because the way this one ends will make you question what justice really means. Let's rewind to August 2002. Two brothers, Tremane and Wood, decide they're going to rob a guy named Ronnie Wipf, a 19-year-old migrant worker from Montana. Now, this wasn't some big-time heist or organized plan. It was a stupid, desperate move that went way too far. Things got messy. Ronnie fought back, and during the struggle, he was stabbed to death. The big question? Who actually did it? Both brothers were caught. Tremane said, yeah, he was there, but he swore he didn't kill anyone. He claimed his brother Jake, was the one who stabbed Ronnie. But prosecutors didn't buy it. They charged Tremane with felony murder, meaning even if you didn't actually commit the act, you can still get the death penalty if someone dies during a crime you're part of. And just like that, his life was changed forever. Now here's where it gets wild. The same crime, two brothers, but two very different punishments. Jake got life without parole. Tremane, he got the death penalty. Yeah, same crime, one brother lives, one brother dies. Make it make sense. Years later, while serving his sentence, Jake reportedly confessed to multiple people that he was the one who killed Ronnie Wipf. He straight up told people, yeah, it was me. But by then, it was too late. The courts had already locked Tremane's fate. So you've got Tremane sitting on death row for a murder that, if his brother's confession is true, he didn't physically commit. And for 20 years, he's been stuck there waiting for Oklahoma to decide whether to believe him or end his life. Now, 20 years on death row can do two things to a person. It can either destroy you or change you. According to Tremane, he changed. During his Clemency hearing, he said, "I'm not a monster. I'm not a killer. I never was and I never have been." He even admitted, yeah, he took part in the robbery, but said he's carried regret ever since. But prosecutors saw it differently. They painted Tremane as a dangerous gang leader, someone who was still running things inside prison walls. They claimed he used contraband phones, traded drugs, and even ordered hits on other inmates. Now, whether that's true or exaggerated depends on who you ask, but it definitely made the decision to spare him a lot harder. Fast forward through 20 years of appeals, hearings, and more paperwork than you can imagine. His attorneys fought hard, arguing that the original trial wasn't fair, that prosecutors hit a plea deal with one of their key witnesses. And honestly, that's a huge deal. You're supposed to disclose that kind of stuff because it can totally change how the jury views testimony. Still, every court, state, federal, you name it, kept saying, nope, execution stands. Even the U.S. Supreme Court denied his last-minute request to stop the execution. So yeah, by the morning of November 13th, 2025, it was game over. Tremane's execution was scheduled. Family was there, media was waiting outside, and Tremane, he was literally counting down his final minutes. All right, here's where it gets gut-wrenching. Inside the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAlester, they'd already prepped everything for the lethal injection. Tremane had eaten his last meal, he'd said his goodbyes. His son, Brendan, was outside waiting to watch the state end his father's life. Imagine that, your own parents' execution minutes away. But then, at the last second, literally minutes before it happened, the governor's office made a call. Governor Kevin Stitt, a man who's not exactly known for showing mercy, had just signed off on a commutation. Tremane Wood's life was officially spared. No, this wasn't a Hollywood movie. It really happened.
So, why did Governor Stitt step in? According to his statement, it was about fairness. He said this decision reflects the same punishment his brother received for the murder of an innocent young man. Basically, Stitt decided that both brothers should have gotten the same sentence, life without parole. And that's a big deal, because in his nearly 7 years as governor, this was only the second time he'd ever granted clemency. Think about that. Oklahoma's executed dozens of people during that time, and Tremane Wood, he's one of only 2 who got mercy. That tells you how unusual this case really was. Outside the prison, Tremane's son Brendan was overwhelmed. He said he felt very joyous, like 1,000 pounds had been lifted off his shoulders. But he also called the whole thing mental torture, because for hours he thought his father was about to die. He said, "I think there needs to be a law to prevent last-second decisions like this. It's cruel and inhumane. Mental torture because they're trying to find peace, thinking their life is about to end." And honestly, he's not wrong. Can you imagine spending your final moments believing it's over, only to have the state say, "Wait, never mind"? That's emotional whiplash of the highest level. This case has sparked a huge debate in Oklahoma and beyond. Some people say Governor Stitt did the right thing, that he corrected an imbalance and saved an innocent life from being taken unfairly. Others say it's just another case of the system hesitating too long, leaving everyone, especially the victim's family, without closure. And there's the bigger moral question. If someone didn't commit the act that took a life, but was part of the crime, do they deserve the same punishment? That's the gray area where mercy and justice crash head-on. Oklahoma isn't known for being soft on crime. It's one of the most execution-heavy states in America. So when a governor actually stops an execution, it sends shockwaves. For Tremane, it means life in prison. No parole, no chance at freedom, but at least he's alive. He'll never see the outside world again, but his story now stands as proof that even in a system built on finality, mercy still exists. And that's something you don't see often. At the end of the day, this isn't a story about a man walking free. It's about a man who came this close to dying for something he swears he didn't do, and about a state that decided at the very last second to pause and think. Tremane Wood's name will probably fade from headlines soon, but the questions his case raises about fairness, accountability, and timing, those will stick around. Because sometimes justice doesn't come when you expect it. It comes right before the final second. So what do you think? Did Governor Stitt make the right call, or was it too little too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And hey, if you want more real-life stories with wild twists like this one, subscribe and hit that bell icon because we've got more coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.